Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Paper Crafting Thursday. I'm Leslie Watkins. So how is everybody? I hope you're well. Let me get my hair out of my face. I have a very fun card that I'm going to share with you today. It's a fold flat box card. And I'm making it because I have a special occasion coming up, something that I'm really excited about, which I'm not going to share with you just this minute, but I will soon. And so it involves giving a gift. And so I wanted to create a special gift box that I could put maybe a note and some cash or a check or something of that nature, maybe a gift certificate or a gift card, any of those things. And I wanted to decorate it to correspond with a theme that this occasion is featuring. So I don't know too much about it, but I do know some of the colors, or at least I think there's some of the colors. And based on the little bit of information that I have, I'm going to go ahead and develop a design for it. And I thought you might be interested in seeing how this goes. So it's a work in progress. I've got a pretty good idea of what I want, but it's not entirely confirmed yet. So you're going to come along for the design ride with me today. So let's get started. So this is the color I've chosen. It's called Merry Merlot, and it's a beautiful kind of a wine red, as you can see. And then I've got a couple of pieces of basic white, and these are just the standard thickness. These are not the thick basic white, just the regular. And the way it comes together is, it looks like this. And then you open it up, and then it creates a little box that collapses that you can put your gift inside of. Now, I'm still working on the proportions of this. I will include the how-to with all the measurements free in my next newsletter. So if you are subscribed to Dandelion Cottage Design notes, you will be getting that in your email very soon. If not, please go to Dandelion Cottage Design and subscribe to notes from Dandelion Cottage, and you'll get a lot of information in there, including upcoming events, workshops, and also a little bit of what's going on here at Dandelion Cottage. So please do that. You can do it by signing up at the top of the Facebook page, or if you're watching on YouTube, there will be a link in the description for notes from Dandelion Cottage. And that will include all of the instructions for this particular project. So you don't want to miss that. So basically, this is how it looks. And it's a single sheet of cardstock, and I've gone ahead and I folded it and made all the cuts, and I'm going to glue the box together now, show you how it comes together. So I'm using liquid glue for this. So I'm just going to apply some glue to these two tabs. And I think I can zoom you a little better. Okay, and then I'm just going to fold this up, get my corners lined up. So I want to make sure that this, actually I can fold this down. So this comes together just like so, and then the same thing here. And then I'm going to hold that for just a moment. Okay? So that's what the side looks like. What I love about this project especially is that it combines both card making, box making, and I'm going to do a little decorating as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I think this would be great for any occasion. It could be, you could use it for a graduation, a birthday, Christmas, a house gift, a pillow gift, you name it. This is a one of those kind of perennial designs that I think will come in handy. So there's that side. I'm going to do the same thing now on the opposite side. Oops, I drove off the road there a little bit. Okay. Get that lined up. And I'm holding it for just a moment to allow the glue to catch. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now I'm grabbing my bone folder. Give that a good burnish, and that's going to lock it into place. Okay, I can double check. That looks good. So, looks like this. Okay, and this will be tied down with a ribbon, and it opens up like this. Now I wanted to add a little insert in here, and this is where I'm going to be able to write my message. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere half of it like so, so that this actually opens, just to find the surprise. And then over here is the cover. So for this video, I'm not going to finish the inside because I want to think carefully about what the message is going to be, and I'm not ready to do that yet. But I will add this after with just a thin line of glue onto the side. So for now, I'm not going to do that. But let's pretend that this was something that you wanted to put inside the box. You can see how cute that is. Okay? Now I've got one other thing, and that is somewhere on my desk. Here it is. I've got this paper that that I thought I could use to line either the inside of the box. I'm not sure if I have enough. I might have enough for both, and also over on this side. So I think I might just have enough. Let's measure. So I need something that is 2.5, and this measures a little over 5, so that's great. So I'll have 2 pieces that I can use on the inside here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and cut those now. Let me just figure out what the height is, and that's 5.5, so let me get my trimmer. I'm going to cut this at 5.5. then cut this at 2.5. Actually, I want to trim that edge. It got a little bit bent, so let's see. There we go. I love how precise I can get with this trimmer. It makes all the difference. Okay, so now I'm going to use this side here. Just a very, very thin bead because this paper is very lightweight. Okay, and then on the inside, same thing, just a tiny bit of glue. This paper is very thin. I don't want the glue, the bump of the glue to show on the other side, so I'm using as little glue as possible. I'm just going to drop that in there. That looks good. And for this, I can use a clear block. And that's going to help me get that nice and smooth. Here we go. Okay, so that is the lining of my box, like so. Now to decorate the cover, I was planning on, hold on just a moment while I check my settings here. There we go. So for the cover, I have a choice. So I've got two stamp sets that I like very much. I've got one called Gallery Blooms and one called Charming Day. And what I like is, I like this because this looks like peonies to me. Okay, but I have a choice because it could be either peonies or roses. So I pulled this one out as well. And the reason I like this Charming Day set is because it includes this die of a single rose that I think will be perfect. So I'm going to pull that out. This is a standalone die. It doesn't necessarily match any of the illustrations in the stamp set, but it's beautiful. And also, there is a second standalone die here that features some a sprig of leaves with what look like little rose hips or possibly berries. So that's kind of interesting. So I'm going to pull those two out. And then over on this side, I wanted to stamp this image on the front here. So I'm going to do that, and I'm using the same ink color, Merry Merlot. Let's see if this fits on here. Might be a little bit tight. Let's check this out. It'll just make it. Going to need a bigger block, however. It's very important to have a nice assortment of blocks so that you can match up your stamps to the size that fits nicely on there. So there's my polymer stamp mounted onto the block, and I'm going to kind of angle it something like that, and then I'll have a little bit of room at the bottom to create a sentiment. Now I also want to do a quick test, make sure that it's inking up nicely. So for that, I have this foam pad. So this is just a foam pad that has some scrap paper mounted on the top to keep it clean. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, we're good to go. So let me grab my paper, get a little more ink on my stamp, and now I'm going to place this ever so carefully because it's very tight. Give that a firm press. And there's my image. And I love that. And I think it works well with the rest of the design here. So that's going to go on the top of the card like so. And next thing, before I mount that, I'm going to have to find some ribbon. And so what I have in mind is something like a white, maybe a white seam binding ribbon. I'm going to have to go into my stash. I know I've got some leftover white seam binding ribbon. That'll be perfect. I just have to find it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to take that ribbon, I'm going to double stick it here. So here is my double stick tape, tear and tape. So I'm just going to take a little piece like so. I'm going to put that in the center like that. Give that a good burnish. And then once I find my ribbon, I'll peel that up, place my ribbon, tie a bow, make sure I've got long enough tails on it, and then this will then be mounted and glued over the top once I find my sentiment that I'm going to put here. So that's what the front is going to look like, very simple. But I also want to get back to these dies. So for the rose die, I'm going to go ahead and use the Merry Merlot. Let me just move this over a bit. So I've got a scrap here, and that's going to fit nicely on there. And I don't need it to be this long, however. I'm going to run this through the machine. Find my poker, poke that out. And look at that, that's just beautiful. Can you see the detail on that? It's just beautiful. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do it again, and actually I think this might be really cute for something. I'm going to hang on to that. I'm going to go ahead and grab a green. So let me find, I think I want to try maybe Mossy Meadow. Let's try Old Olive. Okay, so here's a scrap of Old Olive. Just going to clip this off. I'm going to run it through again. And actually I'm going to add the other dye also. Away. There we go. Okay, so let me show you what we've got now. When I first started doing paper crafting, I didn't think I was going to be interested in having a die cutting machine. And now, 8 years later, it's my favorite. I think it's one of my favorite parts of paper crafting. I absolutely love these beautiful, delicate things that you can do. And if you need them to be stiffer, if you want to make a thicker embellishment, you can cut out several of them, and you can layer them up and have a really nice sturdy embellishment, and everything fits perfectly because you're using the same die. So it's such a great thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to snip off my rose and add that. So I'm just going to cut carefully around like so. And then, now the other thing that's interesting about this die is that you can release the petals. So if you bend it very carefully, you can get a nice three-dimensional rose. There we go. And then I'm just dotting, make sure you can see what I'm doing, just dotting a little bit of glue around the edges. Get my tweezer. Ouch. Poke myself. That wasn't good. Okay. Now I'm going to superimpose my red rose right on top of this one. that lined up. See that? So now I can use this. So here's my rose with my little buried in the background, and I can use this to further embellish my card. So I have a choice. I can put it on here. I can put it here. I may decide to use it on the front. Add it to my stamped image, which I quite like. So I think something like that would be really nice. I think I'm going to grab my marker and just, let me see, do I have a, what do I have here? I want to see if I have a blender pen handy, because that would work well. I don't have one right here, but I will show you in the thumbnail how that all comes together. So I hope you got some ideas about how to add to your projects with both stamps, die cuts, and three-dimensional surprises. I'm going to go look for some ribbon to pull this all together. And I'll probably find some embellishments. I'll put a little bit of bling on there. And then I'll show you the finished project when it's done. So thank you so much for joining me today. Stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time.